Hi, I'm Judy and I'm 13. I'm a brainless child according to my sister, Sandy. It's a good thing she's in college and I won't see her again until the summer. What happiness! Can you trust your siblings? Watch the video to the end and find out how my sister blackmailed me, what I hid, and how it ended. Mike's mom is friends with mine, so we grew up together, and Mike is almost like a brother to me. Mike's mom says that when we grow up, we should get married. She has already chosen the place, the food, and the color of the dress. She's stupid, and Mike doesn't look like her at all. And we are not a couple, but the best friends in the world. Even when I was a kid, I tried to persuade my mother to switch so that Mike would live with us and Sandy would stay with his parents. And suddenly, my childhood dream almost came true. My mother said that Mike's mother was leaving the house for a week and Mike would be staying with us. I was so happy. My mother made him a bed in Sandy's room. Just as Mike was putting his things away, the doorbell rang. It was Sandy. Not a great surprise. She immediately yelled that someone else's clothes were in her room. So I moved Mike in right away. It was even better. At dinner, Sandy chatted about how she had passed her exams early and how everyone in college had congratulated her. Mike and I looked at each other and tried not to giggle. Do you have someone who understands you without words? Tell us in the comments. In the morning, Dad took us to the lake. Sandy said she would be bored with the little ones and brought a couple of friends. They didn't stop laughing at us. Either Mike's shorts were the wrong style or I was sitting the wrong way. It was like going to a circus with clowns. Then they decided to play volleyball. And one of Sandy's friends broke Mike's lip. She said it was an accident, but I saw her nudge him so he wouldn't get in the way. I was angry. When my dad made us his signature Real Cowboys pepper coffee over the fire, I surreptitiously added hot sauce to Sandy and her friends' mugs. They started spitting and yelling, and we had to go home immediately. Dad was also mad at us for ruining the weekend with a joke. In the car, Mike thanked me for avenging him, and he whispered that he wanted to share a big secret with me as his best friend that he would tell me at night when we were alone. When we got back, the battery in Sandy's room had burst, and all the water spilled on her bed. Sandy said she wouldn't sleep in the swamp. She demanded that Dad take her to a friend's house for the night, but Dad was angry and told her to get in a sleeping bag and go to Mike and me for the night. We waited a long time for Sandy to stop swearing at us and go to sleep. Finally, she was quiet. Mike crawled under the covers and told me his big secret. It was a terrible secret. Mike fell in love with a classmate named John. And this was a nightmare. He was afraid that everyone would laugh at him. In our class, they teased you for less, and falling in love with a guy was definitely a sentence. And Mike's mother might die from this news. Because if Mike loved John, he would never marry me. Of course, I was tired of these fantasies of hers, but it was still a pity. In the morning, Sandy went to her room, leaving a mess. I was very angry. We didn't have any servants, so everyone cleaned up after themselves. I went to see Sandy, and she said in that sweet little voice that I would always clean up after her now, because otherwise she would tell our parents that Mike and I had it last night. I wanted to explain to her that she had got it all wrong, but then I would have to reveal Mike's secret, so I started cleaning. Sandy gave me a list of things to do for her, and she just wrinkled her nose, saying that I left dust on her favorite trinkets. And then Sandy demanded that I wash her toilet. And Sandy was not a fan of cleanliness. And to be in her bathroom more than 5 minutes was life-threatening. I almost threw up. and Sandy was laughing. She set up a video feed of my humiliations for her friends. Sandy's friends trolled me, each in her own way. I wanted to shove Sandy's cell phone. Well, somewhere, but she was stronger. The next day, Mike and I went to the mall. I told him how Sandy had humiliated me. He was very upset that I got hurt because of him. He excused. He said that no secret in the world was worth it. I nodded, but I thought to myself that for a friend like Mike, I could clean Sandy's toilet every day. I knew that he would have cleaned it for me too. Suddenly, we saw Sandy through the window of a pizzeria. She was sitting all alone, sorting through some papers. Mike offered to watch for a while. Sandy went to the bathroom, and Mike took a quick photo of her papers. We were hoping it was a love letter. If they sent each other paper letters, this was serious. Maybe I would get lucky and Sandy would get married and leave me alone forever. But it turned out to be worse. It was a letter from college. They were sick of Sandy's absenteeism, and they kicked her out. That's why our beauty arrived so early. I told Mike that Sandy was now in our hands. We could blackmail her the same way she blackmailed me. Have you ever had the sweet feeling that an unpleasant person is in your hands and you can do whatever you want to him? But Mike said blackmail was a bad idea. It was better to talk to Sandy as a person, to try to build a relationship. Maybe she would understand that I was not a stranger to her. Man, he knew my sister as well as I did, and he was still hoping for something. But Mike was right about one thing. Blackmailing a blackmailer was not only stupid, but it would turn our conflict into a protracted war. I didn't want to fight. I wanted everyone to finally calm down. So I went to Sandy and told her everything, and about what we discussed with Mike under the covers, and about my fears and humiliations. No, of course, when I told her what Mike and I were doing under the covers, she almost danced with joy. She immediately ran to my parents for a report, like, so-and-so, your friend's son was gay. I realized that I'd blown Mike's secret for nothing. And now this twitchy woman and her friends would not let him pass. But I also had something to tell and show. For some reason, our parents didn't start hugging and kissing her when they found out that she dropped out of college. They stopped talking to her at all. In general, I wanted peace, but in the end, I quarreled with everyone. Mike walked around the house looking guilty. I had to confront him. We sat and discussed what we would say to our classmates and what we would say to John when word got out. By the way, it turned out that everything was not so terrible. You can always avoid a fight. And then Mike's mom came back. She went to get Mike. I was preparing for a disaster. Dinner turned out worse than ever. Everyone sat with their teeth clenched and silent. I waited for the first person to speak. Either Sandy would speak, or the parents, blushing and stammering, would lead the conversation in the wrong direction. But they all ate in silence. Well, Mike's mom started talking about the trip, but somehow realized that we were all on edge and quickly ran away before Mike could even say goodbye properly. When it was over, Dad and I were alone together. I couldn't help but be relieved. I just adored him for not talking. And he said that our family quarrels were no reason to ruin Mike's life. If he wanted to, he would tell us, but it was not our business. He probably talked to Sandy too, because she avoided me for a week and then suddenly came to my room with a brush in her hands. She said that she was wrong, that she wanted to apologize, but she didn't know how. She said that she was ready to wash my toilet and I could get Mike to look at it and laugh. I replied that I did not need such sacrifices. It was enough that I had a sister who didn't want to hurt me and who was willing to admit her mistakes. In general, it turns out that if you do something nasty to someone else, it comes back to you. So it doesn't make sense. Of course, Sandy and I haven't been best friends since. We are very different.
But now we fight a lot less, and she finally sees me as an adult. This is very important. Subscribe to our channel, click the bell icon, and find out many more interesting stories. They are published here every day.